as Saib sets that up, just keep finishing up those toe ups, and then we can go ahead and do this, your stance and opposite stance and those leans, forward and back. Make sure we got good, strong legs. Really concentrate on that big toe and like putting that balance onto it. Sometimes it's hard getting off the balls of the foot and up onto those toes. If you push on those big toes, it really pushes into them. All right. So here we are. I'm going to give Saib a little bit of time to get hers in, pushing those toes. And Saib brings a good point. If you're finding some balance problem on those toes at the beginning because they're weak, bring a chair in, grab a table, whatever it takes, just to help your balance. They do that in yoga all the time. I have a feeling they probably do this a bit in dance as well, but.
Never heard of a bar?
Well, I guess that's what a bar is for. There we are. All right, so a nice good stance, and all the way forward. Again, you try to put that pressure on that big toe. Start from the ball of the foot and then lean a little harder in and then bring it back. And we're just going through a nice dynamic exercise. Doesn't need to stay there super long. Just warming it up. Good part is we're back, for most of the people online right now, we're past that conditioning point. This is just getting back into that place where making sure those muscles know what we're doing. We haven't done it for a while. They'll be weak at the beginning, but they'll strengthen up after than when they weren't there in the first place. In the past, this is the place that a lot of that tension, we would use, we lean in and we put tension and then we take it away, and we didn't do as much movement, so we use this as the place where we're doing our push and pull. So here I'm pushing, I can push on angles on those pieces, and then I can pull and say, come on. And then my center place is where I can deliver. So this is where we used to do our push and pull, is right through here. Now with a lot of the movement that we've learned and translated, we're trying some newer exercises, just started a couple months ago. We're still working on really kind of building those exercises out, and we can add footwork and this into those pushes and pulls. And we'll go through, and right now we're calling those our figure eights. They don't actually have to be a figure eight. The figure eight just allows us to add lots of different places of control and rolling movement using shifts on both sides of your legs and heels, and so your figure eight allows all of the places of that body movement. But those could also just be circles or ovals. But right now we found that the figure eight exercise allows us for the best practice of all of that push and pull. All right. All right, so let's get a little bit of footwork in. You remember them? I think we're gonna go grab our book. I forgot to bring, usually have our whiteboard, so I'll have to bring that back over here.
We start with the 2-foot run.
Yeah, 2-foot run. You just gotta get to the page, that way we can start through. Of course, he has so many books now with the notes, it's yeah. All right. Go ahead. 2-foot run. Everybody knows this one already?
The run.
Try to keep that back, the butt down, and the back straight. And backwards. Want to stay on the balls of those feet. Other foot. All right.
Next is our most favorite hopscotch.
Just I don't do perfect, otherwise obviously probably would do that. I'm keeping really level. You can hear my feet dragging. Woo! Always a good warm up.
They're all faster than us. So
Yeah, because we got 2 of us.
but it's done when we get done. So next up, skiers. The basic, simplest version of skiers.
Remember, really drop into those. And backward.
Okay. So next, we run through the shuffle version of skiers. So we got outside leg first.
But you know, I forgot it already. See if I can remember it again. Nice. Remember, keep those knees bent. Nice job.
Alright, next we're gonna take that same one, but we're gonna add our angle to it. Turn around our imaginary opponent while we move the shovel.
And backward. Feeling it in the calves already. Remember, the best part here is that this is developing a lot of strength in your lower legs, so the idea in the fight is to use that as a benefit against your opponents. So if your fight is too short, you're not getting a chance to use that. That's where that constant pressure and push and pull, and then you can add some feet to surprise them in different times, preferably while they're taking a breath, if you can tap in that well.
Alrighty. Next one is our 3 steps. So we're going to straighten back out, and we're going to add a step forward to the front of it. And shuffle across.
I remember when I used to have a problem with this. I can tell I haven't been on the balls of my feet for a while. My calves are definitely feeling it.
Next up, cross behind. So almost the same. Now we're going to go ahead and let that back leg cross all the way over. Get wide side to side.
And across the fronts. I still get grief from people like, you're crossing your feet?
You should just point to your strawberry leaves and be like, gee, I had no idea.
Yeah, I went, how did I get here?
I have no clue what I'm doing, but I'm so glad you were here.
That's it. Let me show you this Muhammad Ali video where he crosses his feet while going backwards. Ah, too bad he was no good. Oh, my feet are paying for it. I mean, calves are paying for this. Tight.
Next one is our 4-step. So now we're doing sort of our multiple sideways shuffle drop step things.
And in this one, you should be able to start even like skipping a box forward. shifting back, staying in the same line, adding an extra step on one of the outsides, allowing that all to change up. The key here is that we're developing small feet.
This is doing long ways all the way down the line.
Awesome.
Big long run.
So in this case, this is another, so we need to think about, everybody knows how to do these now. There's always getting into the legs and knees more. But I want you to think about with an opponent. Imagine that opponent in front of you all the time. And your job is, if they're sliding to the outside, then your job is to stay with them. And maybe forward and backwards a little bit. Yeah, I know. So this is where those feet come into place and where our imagination of shadowing our opponent can be. This is also a good thing to use to break down your opponent sometimes. Like Side was doing, I'm running a line. She took about 2 or 3 inches. I'm at a good range here. She took about 2 or 3 inches. She's at a much better range. And she knows I'm still thinking of her back. She's thinking of being closer. So this is a place where you can use these things because people don't pick up small changes like that very well sometimes.
Next, moving into our quick feet work. So lateral in and out to start with.
Switch sides? Is that what we did? I'll just go to the other one.
Switch sides if we're like only go traveling one direction, no whatever.
One thing I found is I'm not doing these quite as much in fights. I think that's a weakness. I need to re-add them a little bit. I still do a little bit of jab work, but those little quick in and outs I think are actually sometimes more safe than the jab work.
Now we're going to go to our forward in and out. So this time body just stays in one place, goes in a straight line, and the feet go in and out underneath.
Louis nice and gives me some, he does them fast enough, he waits a little bit for us.
It really sounds like a machine.
Yes, he does.
Perfectly written.
And the typewriter effect. And backwards. I gotta remember which foot. Okay, I start with this foot, this. And then I switch. Ah! I'm doing this forward. Let's see if I can do it better. A little slower now. Yeah, it helped me remember to do it right.
Okay. Moving on to our jab jump. So that's our just jab in and out the box.
Hopefully you guys are getting as tired as I am. Again, remember not to turn that foot. Try to keep it out.
Switch to the other foot forward. And do that side.
Yeah.
Next one is the switch foot. Swapping our feet in place underneath us while going sideways. Whatever MMA-based movie we were watching recently, we saw someone
do this.
in the MMA fight. In the
Yeah.
movie.
Everybody seems to be in better shape than I am.
Alright. Big jump forward, small jump back. That longer jab forward.
Pushing those up. It seemed like you were pushing those up further.
Yeah, that's right.
They're the same height, yeah. Backwards or the other foot?
Other foot.
All right.
Then we'll do backwards, just for round roller.
Strong Balder's favorite backwards at next.
Even though he's not here to see it, we do it anyway. He'll know it's deep in his heart. That we did it.
Exactly. All right, backwards. The good part on this one is, if you want, you can go back on a 45 with that same jab jump, so you can work across the ladder a little bit here and there if you want. So, switch your feet. The idea here is I would shoot into this corner and maybe come back. That's hard.
Yeah.
Awesome. Look like Uther snuck in. Good to see you again, brother. You chilling out?
Yeah, I'm packing up, getting ready to leave the state. I'm excited.
Oh man, finally. It's been a long time.
It's been a long time in coming, brother.
So Louis, go ahead and do these. Oh, okay. It's Louis doing like a hop sketch with another foot first.
Doing the shuffle version.
The shuffle version first. So the idea on the shuffle version, Louis is showing his back foot comes up as you're skipping forward. The back foot should be coming forward as your front is going out.
It can get you a lot more.
And it can get you a little bit more range, just like a shuffle version does when we're doing other stuff.
Because geometry, it can get you more range. I don't know how much I love the new time that you're fighting it.
And then again, the other one is whatever stance you want, you can do that, shoot into the corner, right? So here we are, I'll shoot in here, and then I'll be back again. Shoot in here, be back. Shoot in here, be back. Do a switch. That way, if I'm looking at side, and she's at a range that's comfortable, I can shoot over here, and back, I can shoot over here, and back, right? The thing on the back of this does, I shoot over here, she's not moving her feet, she just moved out her body, which is good, you're learning something. And then you're back here before they can do anything. If she backs up, and then I come back, she's gonna want a hand to come forward, and then I can throw while she's thinking that she's gonna re-engage. I'm thinking she's gonna step forward, I'm gonna throw. So, that's how you have to look at opportunities inside these things we're learning. All right, next one.
Last one is the turning step. So it's like our last 8 if we do all of them. In my stance, I'm going to start with my back foot. Down the ladder, flip around. Flip right back into stance every time.
The good part about this one is you're learning to make sure your foot is turned the right way and you're gliding through these motions.
You want to make it harder, go on the balls of your feet.
These type of motions can be added on to the end of almost anything you do. So the idea being, if I were to add a jab here, I could literally go ahead and do a turn around after the jab.
Really sort of the advantage of actually working through all 8 variations of this that we have found so far is that no matter what you've just landed in, your feet have some pattern to go to because you've done every foot forward, stepping.
Exactly. And you're comfortable rolling into the next thing, where a lot of people who don't practice rolling into the next thing, they get stuck in it. They do the jab outside and then their feet are stuck. Because they don't have flow, they don't know where to drop their hip, they don't know what the next flowing movement is.
Alright, so now we kind of already did some. I only did the one, so I'm going to do the front foot forward now. And then I'll go into the backward move.
Yep, that's
You
fine.
already showed us.
Remember, when you do the front foot, you really have to reach with that back foot on your rotation. Otherwise, your front will want to change feet. The key here, turn that foot down the ladder. This is really important when we're turning around an opponent.
Point toes at thing you want to do.
Exactly. What happens a lot of times, people just continue a motion with their foot pointing forward, which actually takes them away from their opponent.
The back inside was our like overhead camera view. You can demonstrate that a lot because that was like the best interview ever. Showing feet angles.
Make sure you catch yourself leaning forward. Pull that hip back underneath you. These are those times that break the bad habits. Wrong way. Not that he's here, but a big shout out to William, Ricky's son, who's on these with us. He placed in a saber competition. Actually, locally, there's a fencing club up here, but I think he placed third in a pretty high level competition. So on the college level.
We just switched feet. We're starting into all of our honeyfoot stance variants here.
That's a good wrong already. Do it backwards first because I was on this end of that. I gotta obviously
I'm
do.
gonna do backwards. And then I'll go forward back. That works.
Obviously, I gotta practice these more funny-footed because my movement is crap here. Take off, yeah. Woo. I know it's easier from that end of the ladder, isn't it?
Oh, he started going the other way, so I was just getting out of the way and letting him finish.
It's funny, you do front
And then
front,
back.
back in the same stance, same foot. And you're not really, you're just changing direction.
So, right, you're just making that easy switch. You get used to it.
I'll do that.
That's the way you take them nice and slow there. Casey, how's your knee doing, Casey? Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle?
Doesn't like the front foot forward thing and having to
Okay.
push it far, but
Thank
doing
you.
it slow helps.
Exactly, that's the idea. That's, you know your body, you just take it to the level that you think you're gonna build the muscle around it and not hurt it, so.
Yep. Go to where it pulls, not where it hurts.
What's that?
You go to where it pulls, not where it hurts.
Yeah, exactly. All right, good point is, so I'm going to take a look at a few more videos coming up of adding a couple more. I looked at a couple of ladder drills and saw a couple other things I think might help us. I'll try to find those, post them out here, and then we can look at possibly adding, enhancing these things. We also may look at adding some like multiple drills into the same. In other words, maybe a jab step or a switch step and then change, like Louis just did here. He kind of added a switch step in the middle here. He does it, then he added a switch step, and then you get change. It really works your mind around what's next. So the idea there is anytime you're in a fight, you can do a switch step and then roll into a different position. And be in that place where it's more natural. The more natural you are, the smoother you are, the easier it is to roll out or make your opponent do something that's less natural to them.
That is all of the better drills on the list.
Awesome. So yeah, next time what we'll do is we'll talk about maybe, exactly what Louis is doing here, or possibly we'll throw a jab step in, and then some rolls.
Louis trying to design a kata version, basically.
Yeah.
Mixes them up and breaks the brain.
That's a great idea.
And
So
force you to.
Louis is gonna work
Multiple
possibly on some kata versions of this with different exercises. We do a little bit of that with our long jumping drills and fall-in drills on the bob, where we learn to essentially long jab and then roll into a corner. All that feet turning, all of those pieces are in place. All these things help you with smoother movement and all of that flow inside that fight. The good part is, not a lot of people understand that. The hard part is taking flow and applying pressure. Is a little bit of Andy talked about, applying pressure into these places and then inviting the pull and then applying pressure. So we're going to talk a little bit about the figure eight here. And I'm going to have Louis grab, can you get a foam sword? Even like one of your super light one or whatever. Okay, then that foam sword, any foam sword. Yeah, that one works. You're actually going to do it. So I'm going to have Louis do this one, and we're going to talk a little bit about the figure eight. Again, a lot of times we lay down cones. I forgot I'm going to bring some cones over next time. I think he has some. And we're just going to put a couple cones in, and then I'm going to show a little bit of the figure eight. Now we don't have quite the room in here, or we'll do our best on some longer figure eights, but what we're going to do is, right now, I tend to do much more vertical figure eight than a long figure eight, but it depends on what your opponent's doing. At figure eight, if your opponent's walking at you, then you're going to apply that figure eight in a long version. But if your opponent's really not, is kind of tracking you, then you can do that figure eight in an elongated vertical version. No, I'm going to have you guys.
It's in the bag of the ladder.
Oh, is it?
No, we just don't know where that bag is.
Ah,
The mesh bag.
looking for the mesh bag with ladder and all that.
Oh, on top. Right here. Under the
Oh, there they are. Awesome. All right, we're going to throw two down. So we're gonna start with a shorter version right away, because we're not gonna, and the shorter version is actually a little difficult. So, but we're gonna start with this little shorter version. An example of this is essentially, here we are, we're rolling around here, and we're rolling in between. Okay? So you can put anything on the ground that you want. The idea is keep your body up. So in this rolling, I'm dropping my hip forward into this roll. I start pushing this hip this way, now I'm dropping it out of the roll. Key here is small feet. If you take big feet, then you have, all of a sudden, it's very hard to turn a tight circle.
And for now, only left, right, left, right, left, right. No, like, double steps.
Right. So go ahead and do it, Louis.
It's the most basic form here.
Yeah, and this is the most basic form.
Do the simple way and then add the more complicated steps later.
All right, so you okay?
Everybody's patterns are gonna look different.
Yeah, a little bit different depending on the size of your feet. Louis is going extra small there a little bit, so he actually had an extra step inside compared to myself. So there's nothing wrong with that. In this case, side's taking a little bit deeper on the back. Now she tightened it up a little bit.
I'm trying eventually.
It's hard.
When I sit my butt, I just
You lean forward. Exactly.
I'm gonna bet if you try to go faster, you will actually go slower.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna be less smooth.
And again, this really comes in this place where you're moving your hip and you're letting your feet follow, just making sure your feet are in small position. I'm going to show if these are actually out much farther, it becomes very easy. Because all of a sudden now you can take a really, your tightness only ends up around these places. If you look, there's a crossfoot here. There's a crossfoot here.
Unless you take much smaller steps.
Yeah, unless you take small steps, and then you don't need to do the crossfit. You can see,
Tiny steps.
I can do those too. So some depends on what kind of opponent you have or where you feel comfortable. So,
We talked about those cross steps getting you more side-to-side motion, they get you more bang for your buck. This is when you can use that.
that's right.
Also, really good if you had poles sticking out of the ground, then you can't cut the corners and shoot.
The other piece
True.
is this. We can do this same movement back and forward. Again, what we're learning is I'm learning how to fall back and break to the sides and back forward again. And I'm trusting my feet to find and balance myself. Your feet don't have to be perfect. Your feet just have to be in this place where you don't feel like you're falling down and that you can trust them. And they have to be small because if you make them big, all of a sudden, then I'm way out here. And I have to re-event because I'm making my feet bigger so the loop ends up bigger. All right, let's do the vertical.
You know me, that's like 8 feet behind a column flying backwards things.
Yeah, and take it nice and slow at first. I'm going to watch a little bit. Again, you can set anything you want on the floor. Now, this is just that we're learning our movement and trust in our hips. And our hips are guiding us here again, just like all our movements. We're not relying on our feet to guide us. That's the way, Bess. Taking it nice and slow, really comfortable walk. Same thing. Nice job. That's the way to do it. The idea there is you're just getting comfortable. You see how many balance changes you're making through this? We're like, yeah, exactly. That's what gave me the eyeball. So there's a ton of balance changes through this because we're changing our hip from driving forward to driving back. That's just like dance. That's our flow. So what you're really learning here is that flow of your body. Bess, you having a little trouble there? I see you typing.
If you unmute and talk, it's cool.
All right. No, I think he was answering somebody else. Oh, no, everybody. Much easier on my toes. Yes, it is. Well said. Yeah, because now you can, remember that we talked about it earlier, the stronger your foot is. In this case, there are places where as you're falling to the outside, you're rolling up onto the top of those toes, not only the ball of your foot, but the toes again. So this is where that place where toes do mean something. Both the outside toe and the inside toe, because of the rolling motion is changing each time. So these are two very nice. What we're learning is that flow in this fight here. The next piece is going to be flow with an opponent, where we're going to get in front. This is where the dance piece comes in place. And if you have a good person that you're like, hey, I want to practice. This is something you can just say, hey, are you going to an event? No armor. It's not a fighting event. Or hey, how about we just practice this before we go to a tournament? And this is where you can get in that place. I'm going to have these guys show with swords later, but this is that place where we set up usually 4 cones. And what happens is I'm going to get side with these 2 cones. And I'm going to pretend I have 2 cones about the same distance. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to push side around this. So step right in the middle of those cones. I'm going to push side around this cone, and then she's going to push. Exactly, and then we're going to roll. And I'm getting this feel when she's falling forward and falling backwards here. So now I'm learning that tension between the two of us. I'm learning that pure tension between the two. So it doesn't even need to be cones later. This could literally just be freeform, where side's working out. We've done this a lot. This could be freeform, where I push side into this corner, and then I have to feel side pushing. So we can change that up, freeform it. But this is an exercise that we learn to do this better. We learn to make that connection with our opponent. The better we maintain that connection, the better we can maintain our range and change that up. One of the weakest points is when you give your opponent the ability to be in his best position, no matter if you're in your best position. Now, there are times when you might want to do that on counters, or you know you can make their block. So you want to just suck up their block, make them use energy, or take their block and a counter. But the idea is most people don't know how to throw outside their best position. So by maintaining movement, by flowing through these things, you can stop real quick and then throw something and then get right back into that motion. But this is one of those places where what I see a lot is we'll fight, bang, 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 somebody drops back, and then I let them, and then they get comfortable again, and then they're in their best position, stepping right back into me.
Yeah, the fight does a reset. Like people, they're all like, I'm panicking. They fall back and they mentally and physically do the reset. You see it all the time.
Right, instead, what happens is we're in a fight, bang, 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 she steps back out, and then I just walk over to her side. She can't reset, right? Because I haven't given her any opportunity. In fact, if I let her reset, she can take offense again. And then I'm back in that position waiting for her to come throw at me. Terrible position. We don't want to wait for people to come throw at you. Right? We talked about this a lot before. Walking forward is the easiest way to breathe. When I walk forward at her, I walk on an angle. Right? And then when she changes, I might take it away. And then look, if she was like going back, then I take it away. And I'm not giving her a break here. But I'm relaxed because I know my range. I know that flow. I made that connection. I practice it all the time. That part is they don't. Our good part for us is they don't. Okay? So, the next big piece on this is we're going to do that figure eight with two people. And I'm going to let Louie inside show you where the tension points are. And remember that both people in this exercise are providing those tension points. So even when I go forward and I'm going around the front of mine and I'm providing tension on this outside, even when I go back, I might be providing tension because I'm trying to pull them. Trying to pull them into doing something. And then when I go back forward again, I put tension on the other side. And then I go back and I'm like, come on, and then I get outside of it and I do tensioning. So they're going to do it super slow, and they're going to show points of tension, literally stop in those points of tension and tell them what you're thinking about. Yeah, no cones is fine. And we're going to do a pretty vertical, horizontal figure eight, just like we just did, not the vertical, but we'll show the vertical in a minute. All right, so let's just start with nice and comfortable flow.
Lateral.
Yeah, lateral. Let's start with nice lateral flow. There we go. Good. Yeah. All right, and you can see where Louie's applying tension into certain points, and then side can counter into the outside, and she provides some tension. See, there we are. All right, so now let's go ahead. Tension, don't turn too much. Let's make sure it's perfect, but lean into those shots. And this is where I want you to take a sword or something in your hand and think about your opponent. You're on the outside of your opponent. You're providing tension. Then you might change it up into the other side.
Here.
Sorry?
Whole outside and or onside and leg body.
Right, and she's leaning to his outside.
I'm making this round around the outside of the figure eight. I'm thinking about pressuring his outside at the same time.
Right.
Yeah, but you can see both providing pressure.
Which is where I will be
Starting to go backwards. Yeah.
take that away.
Right, and this is where we're providing tension in flow. You notice he didn't stop. He can still literally throw in these positions. Right? Okay, let's do it again. So, at home, doing this by yourself, do those, but lean a little bit, like give a little attention, even like drop into this front leg, and then provide that tilt a little bit back to the other side, like you're gonna throw an offside. Don't have to throw that, or you're gonna throw that offside drop leg, where you drop. You know, find those points where you not only have that flow that's linear, but you also have an up and down. So as you're pressuring, I could be in here and he's pushing, and I go down in here, and then I'm up here, and then down here, right? So all of a sudden now you're adding a 3D effect to your figure eight. So your opponent has to think. So if I push over here and I come down, he's thinking head. Right, he's thinking head, but I'm pretty much in that position. So he may start trying to, first thing as I'm getting on the outside of him, he may try to start this back up. I may want to pull him over here. Now I'm pushing on this side. Now I'm thinking high, right? He may be thinking put pressure over here. And then we're back around. This is this position where you want to get into a place where you're always providing tension. So here I'm going to drive this way this time. Tension high, he's putting tension somewhere else. I change this, I put tension a little bit lower, he's tensioning. Put tension in the center, he's tensioning. So the idea is, what we're doing is we're tensioning into those circular movements. Again, you notice my level changed a little bit in each one of those. So it does not have to be perfect when you're in this. As you get better and better, it will get a little more flow to it. But for now, worry about how you're applying tension up and down. And let's do that again. So while you're doing it at home by yourself, figure eight, I'm down, back, I can stand up a little bit. Figure eight, I'm down, back, I can stand up, and then I'm going to change it. Stand up, throw offside, back down. Stand up as you're coming in, back down. So you can change those. All right, let's go ahead. Nice figure eights. Stay on that line, and don't stutter too much. Keep that nice flow while you're. There you go. Good. Now up and down a little bit. Yeah, nicely. That's going to stop. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, nice side. That's good. Remember, even on your backs, I want you to apply a little bit of pressure.
Yeah, the thread works what I like. Exercise.
Well, this is that exercise. This is where that partner part helps here, is because you're learning stuff from it. But while we're actually in the movement by ourselves doing this, we're learning on that figure eight. We're learning I can go low, I can go high, I can go low. I can change these levels on Louis. I can change, I can go high, push here again, Louis going. There we go. All right. So, but what we're trying to do here is change that motion of flow. We can do it nice and even-headed. Now we're like low into a push. Back out, pulling. Now I'm standing up. Louis is going to feel much more comfortable coming at me when I'm standing up. So in other words, if I push over here, then I stand up, Louis is like, oh, I can do stuff. Oh, I can do stuff. But that becomes my pull. So I'm like, okay. So here I am. I push low. I stand up. Push low. I stand up. And I'm waiting for something to happen. Bam! Right? So I can throw stuff while Louis is entering into that position. Louis is already doing it because it's very natural to him. What he's finding is that he's backing out, and as I'm coming, he's like, oh, I'm going to throw that leg. So.
Whoa.
Yeah, nice and slow.
We both try to go different directions. Ah.
Yeah,
All right.
1 liter.
I'll go that way.
There we go. Good. Nice. Now up and down a little bit. Yeah, nice, Louie. There you go, good. Nice throws and slow. Good pressure side, that was much better. Nice back out while he's doing stuff. There we go. Nice change up. Okay? So that's the idea, those ups and downs. Let's see, again, Nessa doing some work around them, ups and downs a little bit, Nessa, as you're doing them. Think when you go forward, you're going to throw to their leg and cover your body while you're pushing tension on it. And then going backward, you can stand up a little bit. I know the knee is probably weak right here, isn't it? No, you're good? Awesome. You doing all right, Bess? All right. Okay, nope, that's fine. Get their emotion down. This is actually the first time you've done this, so that's good. Bess, I want to see some ups and downs. I know you've done this already. There we go, good. Yes. Think about those forwards, like I'm tight, I'm going to blow this guy up. Dang, yes, you're throwing high, yes. There we go, good. Hey, don't fall down.
I mean, falling down's okay, just don't hurt yourself falling down.
Exactly. That's the way. Yeah. Get a little bit more comfortable on those figure eights now. Think about it. Right now, you're struggling with those feet. You're getting a little too low. Don't worry about going too low. There we go. You're nice and there you go. Nice. Yeah. You just let your hips lead all of this. You got it. See how you can totally let those ups and downs happen while you're doing all of that work. It's much easier that way. You gotta be. This is that dance, right? If you don't know how to do this, you're going to be uncomfortable in a fight doing this. Nice. Good.
Like, clearly he's not feeling
No, I mean, you're not throwing either, so if you want to throw, you're good. You can have each other on the legs.
I'm not going to swing it
All
off.
right, so the next one, let's talk about. And you guys keep, that's what I keep doing. You're probably just going to change this to the longer eights now. The next one I want to see you guys do is I'm going to push over here, and then we're going to change to the longer figure eight. You're going to take a couple more steps forward, and then you're going to go change on that outside.
Longitudinal.
Yeah, this is the first time we're doing this one too, so.
Yeah, I know, this is the first time.
Yeah, experiment.
Right? So at the first time doing it, let's forget about the pressure. Let's just, there we go, good, nice. So this is really important when you have a person that's always backing up. You got it. You getting where I'm coming from there? So you can use that whole length. So this is, if I'm a person that's always backing up, so Louis, you're going to play that defensive. So I'm going to play that defensive role. First, I'm like, I'm powering you, I'm powering you, I'm powering you. See, you're changing edges on me. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to go back. I got to rest. Oh, well, you're not going to let me rest. I'm going to come forward again. Right? Okay, I got to rest again. Oh, you're not letting me rest because you're shifting to either side of me. Right? Does that make sense? So let's try that one more time. Here I am. I'm going to push. Oh, now you change sides. I'm going to get out of here. Oh, shit. You want to come at me? Get the idea?
Yeah.
This is that place where you have somebody that, I want to be on top of you. Okay, I got to take a break. Oh, wait, you're not going to give me a break. I'm going to get back on top of you. Oh, that ain't working either.
So you don't run into a lot of those people. They're usually just 100% forward.
And the trick is, so that length ends up being really big.
I want to be on top of you.
But the other piece is,
Still.
yeah, but the other piece is I want to be on top of you is now you're rolling out into an outside corner. So I want to be on top of you. And now I'm going this way. And now you're changing. I'm like, oh, I'm not comfortable here. That change, we talk about that change all the time against somebody that's running up on you. We talk about rolling out. So in this case, we're adding this long flow to that. As soon as you change to this outside and I don't turn, or I turn this way, then you can change it back the other way. This is why you want to be able to do these flows both ways. So in this case, I'm flowing deep over here, and then she comes and takes that back from me, and then I'm flowing over here. Now, I might just turn. I'm going to turn at the end when you make that outside lap. So we're going to do it really slow. Here you go. You're going to start turning here. I'm going to turn. So now you're going to go ahead and change your feet and do the other way. You got it. So the idea is, here I am. Right. So here I am. I'm going to back up. And you're going to be that person, right? I'm here, and then I'm pushing over here. You just turn. And then I'm going to do this. And I'm going to change my 8 the other way. Because if you just turn, here you are, and I go start turning this way, and you just turn. So now I have to change. Yes. Let's do it again. Here we are, pushing over here. Now you just turn in place right there. You got it, right? So here, this is where I need to start changing my angle to the weak side. Because you want to test, like, here I go again. This is an example. This is a moving example of this. I shoot here, you turn. And then I'm going to go.
Right. So maybe another way to explain it is you've got a cone of strength. All your strong shots are going to come from there. And if you're a little bit, if the cone's a little bit this way, it's easier for you to go to this side than it is for you to cross your cone and go to the other side.
Right, because as soon as you turn, it's hard for me to cross your cone again.
So I'm just going to take the shortest distance to the outside of your cone.
So this one's there's a lot of discussion on this. This is a new thing we're throwing into this. But so let's go back to just a simple figure eights. And then we'll add this one later as we can define it better. Okay? So here we are in the middle. I'm gonna be the guy that walks backwards. You're gonna keep pushing on me, and then I'm like, there we go, good. Now, up and down now. Okay, you're gonna go up and down with me now. This is a good exercise to make for if you have a partner, just do up and downs together. So here we go. I'm gonna lead. You got it. You're gonna stay the same height I am. Good. Good, nice. Yes, perfect. That was perfect. You see, that's easier when they're defined who's up and down. Okay? This time you're up and down. All right, ankle turn. Oh, toe. Is it the bunion thing? Thanks.
Ivy, okay?
Yeah.
She has a bunion that really hurts when she does stuff like that. On top of it.
Undesirable outcome.
Undesirable outcome, yes.
I'll scrape my hands out good.
Yes.
Hey guys, when you're doing that tension and pressure, is the goal to just match each other back and forth, and you're just building the kinetic steps? So whenever you go to do it full speed, it's just you've already programmed yourself to be able to do that without thinking.
You got it.
Okay.
So that idea is, especially in this position, what you want is, so even if me and Louis were here, and he's gonna go a little faster, so I'm gonna let Louis follow, and I'm just gonna follow and mimic, like he's the leader in this dance, and I'm not. But I'm always kind of pushing for that lead. But in this case, I'm gonna let him dictate the change of movement, and then I'm always gonna stay in flow with him. Otherwise, it's no longer a dance. Now, at some point when I see a weakness, I may change it. And Louis is doing that already. See, he sees a weakness and then he throws, right? But what we're trying to do is find that weakness in this flow. Ready? So here it comes. Now shoot to the outside. And you can see he changed his figure eight. And then you can see I took my foot away. You can see we can add stuff inside those, but we're going to fall right back into that same flow again. We're going to make a nice tight block. We're going to fall back into that flow.
It's like the
Got it.
version with me is just trying to figure out how to move in that shape.
Yes.
And then you can add all these other additional layers onto it to get it more and more like real fighting.
So Luther, we just started this probably, what, a month ago?
Yeah.
Maybe a month and a half?
Well,
Yeah, because we had two.
this forward back version we started today.
Yeah.
So
So the idea here is we already kind of do this in fighting. We don't have quite as much circular movement on it, but we already try to find flow in fighting, right? You're like, I'm gonna be right at this edge, and I'm pulling, and I'm just micro pulls and pushes, right? So that you can take advantage of something. But we don't teach people how to get there.
Right.
And in this case, we're teaching people that flow. Also, while we're in that flow, you don't get surprised. This is why when Louis threw that leg shot, I was ready for the block. Because I don't have to worry about distance, because I'm always at that perfect distance. I don't have to worry about being in the wrong turning angle, because I'm staying in front of him.
Oh, got you. Well, you're also, yeah, you're holding your hands in home base consistently, no matter where you're moving. And so it's the simplest biometric motion to do what you like to do.
And you got it.
I talk about that a lot in Slow Works, but this is I like the interaction version of this. You guys are doing is really a cool breakdown. It's really neat to watch. Very, very interesting.
Yeah, and the more we're comfortable with dance, the better we get at dance, right?
Yeah.
And the idea here is that, you know, we're practicing this, we're creating all this flow, and by having our hands and body in home base, defensively and offensively, we're at our strongest points.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where a lot of this comes from.
So also by picking this like motion and doing this type of footwork, even though we're following and we're doing more footwork than most people would normally do, there's still insights to be learned about what opportunities there are and what things you can change up in the middle of the footwork also. So
exactly.
The more different areas that we challenge ourselves, the more of those insights I guess you can find. And I guess that's really what we're looking for when we're training.
And it's actually the same thing we look for when we spar new people, right? We're looking for what's different and how do I react. Well, in this case, we're trying to make it that we never have to worry about our feet or our centers, because they are so natural that all we have to do is make a good connection with our opponent. And we will drop into positions and do our changes. And we're also trying to make it so that we can flow, throw, we can stop real quick and throw, because we know our setup is there before we even have to stop, instead of, here I go, I'm working in this figure eight, and because I don't know how to throw out of this, I'm like, I stop for a second, set. Well, he's still moving. He's changing his position all the time. So now every time he changes, here I am, I dig my feet in, oh shit, I gotta change here. Okay, no, can you hold right there? I'm ready to throw, right?
Yes, you can.
So by changing that position, which we see in boxing all the time, we're taking the line of attack off every time. The other thing that this does in this flow.
Someone's ringing.
Interesting. The other piece in this flow, what it does, is that it does that push and pull that we see in the Eastern European effect. Here we are showing.
I didn't hit the little teeny tiny X.
Yeah. I thought I hit the teeny
tiny
X. I'm sorry.
So in Mexican boxing, we see this. Here I come. I don't care where you go. I am Kelly now.
Yeah.
Right, here I am. And you're going to hit me and hit me and hit me, but you know what? I'm used to doing 12 rounds of this. You are not. Right? We can't afford that in what we do. So breaking into Eastern European boxing, it's like, all right, here I am. I'm going to push tension on you. I'm going to push, go ahead and back up, pushing tension. And now you're pushing, I'm taking away. I don't care. If you're working, now you want to give up working. So now I'm taking that space and I'm pushing. Oh, you want to come again? Here I changed. Now I'm back. No, you're going away. I'm not letting you away. Oh, look. The idea is that we're always keeping attention there and adding more tension from your body, showing your opponent a little bit more tension from your body will actually build more tension in them. But the net goal is your opponent isn't even thinking about tension at all, and you are. Your opponent's just thinking about hitting you because that's what we do in the SCA. So he's thinking, I want to rest, I'm going backwards. So he throws a bunch of shots. Bang, 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 he wants to rest. Nope, not resting, not resting. Oh, now he's like, okay, see, oh, there he is. He's like, see, I'm just relaxing here. And then he wants to rest. There we are, he wants to rest. He wants to rest. I keep changing that edge. He can't, he's in his head, he's still fighting. In my head, I'm taking up space. And because I'm the dominant one putting pressure, it's much easier. And then when he pushes, I'm like, no big deal, I'm right at the range and I'm comfortable. Sometimes I'll be like, I'm gonna even let him throw a couple to burn out that real big energy he has. Every time you throw something, your opponent throws something, they burn out more pressure. So sometimes they'll be coming out and be like, hey! And I'll let him throw right into my shield. And I'll be like, and then after he throws 3 or 4 shots, he's like, and then I'm right back up on him. And he hasn't had a time to even breathe yet. And he's taking shallower breaths because I'm still there on him. But here's the key, and this is something I talked to Nessa about, is if you make the fight too fast, you never get these opportunities to do this. So in a fight, sometimes, even if you end up giving up some shots, think about just looking at trying to get your opponent to breathe hard. It's like, okay, I'm gonna suck up a couple shots. As he's coming in, I'm gonna back up and suck up some shots. And then when he wants to relax, I'm gonna walk him. I'm gonna walk into those corners, make him feel uncomfortable until he wants to come forward again. And then I'm back and go, oh, there you go, he stopped. I'm gonna get back into the corner. Well, he's coming forward, I don't care. I'm right at a range, I'm comfortable. See, there I am, right? So the idea is, all I'm trying to do is actually just break his breath down now, while I'm maintaining a good breath control. But that's what these figure eights does. It always keeps you, I'm always flowing into a corner, I'm pushing his outside, I'm pushing him,
And then you keep going.
I'm flowing, and then as soon as he wants a break, I'm pushing him outside again. I may do this and then push this outside again. You can change those figure eights. So the other piece is, so if I start a figure eight, I stand right in the middle, and I go this way the first time, right? There we go, and then I'm gonna stop in the middle again. Now this time, I'm gonna go the other way. Because each way provides a different opportunity. And just like anything else, we want to practice both ways so we're comfortable. And like Uther talked about here, is with a partner, this is where we build that flow. So if that guy wants to jump you, well, he may end up getting a little bit more of a distance on you, but he won't be on top of you. In other words, as we're in that flow, now he's like, I'm right at an edge here. I'm comfortable right at this edge. And there we go. So as soon as Louis wants to jump me, you notice Louis gave me a hesitation, and I'll show you here. Louis gave me that double step right forward real quick, and I stepped here, and then he pulled me back. He's like, oh, I'm not really doing that. I didn't take a big step forward, because if he gives me that jump, and then pulls me back, and then jumps forward, he can be on top of me as I'm moving forward. So he's literally pulling me. Whenever he jumps, I go back, and then I want to take this space up, make sure it's nice and small, because I'm still comfortable. If I take a small step, I'm not just taking a long step and then get hit by you. If you take those really long steps to get back into place, you could hurt yourself because you can't shift your balance from your hip. So just be a little careful, but this is the idea, is it's always these small steps. So whatever, even if Louis gives me some jab steps, you notice even my back steps ends up being small. They may give me a jumping lunge. There we go, and you notice I step offline and I push into these corners. And anytime, because we've been doing stuff, I can change my feet any way I want. We don't care, as long as I know where my range is and he can't hit it. So we'll cover more about the figure eights. I think we did in practice. The good part is we're going to do the long side to side figure eight both ways. So start it out one way, do a couple, change it the other way, do a couple. And then we're going to do the back and forward figure eight. And we'll tie names to those just so, I'll let you come up with them, so that everybody knows. And the idea there is these are opponents that tend to be just linear opponents that are going to push for multiple steps. You're going to suck it up for some steps, and then you're going to roll. Good thing about, remember, if this is how we normally do it in the SCA. Louis starts pushing, I go straight back. He's comfortable, I'm in his target area, I'm in his bread and butter spot to throw. I'm going to back up into a list because there's no escape. This is crap. This is where you get hit by a double jab. This is where you get hit by lots of stuff. But if Louis starts pushing and I fall into a corner and I change that corner up, I could slip from either side now. I could roll these ropes. The rope is not my enemy anymore. And because Louis has to turn, he slows down. So Louis is used to coming forward. As soon as I'm over here, he turns, and then I go off to the other side. Look how he's stopped. He stopped going forward. So this is another reason that figure eight works in those moves, because what happens is now your opponent, and Sly's going to do it with Louis here. I think that's a good idea.
I want to do something.
Yeah, do it. So the idea again, yes, you can see how he has to turn, right? There you go, good. Now ups and downs. There you go, good. And you can even do fast up and downs. There you go. Yeah.
I cannot. I can do loops up and down.
Yeah, that's okay. Louis is very good at those fast ups and downs inside those small movements. So
I guess if you, also if you get somebody to go into that sideways motion, you can see, and change it up a couple times, you can see if they're a crossover person or not.
you got it. You're looking for, this is just like a probe, right? You're looking for weaknesses. So what do you think about the figure eights? Can you see why they're important? Can you see how they help with the flow of a fight? You can see how side like pushes, and then it's like, okay, you want to do some stuff? You want to go forward? I'm going backwards. That's fine.
I like the flow.
Yeah, I like them too.
A lot, because I think you're talking about the secondary steps that occur after. I think that's the thing. As I see people step offline one time, not multiple times, or how to get back into flow. It's a great loop.
Yes, and that builds an exercise that helps you understand those flows.
But I think it also teaches you what to look for when you're fighting.
That's,
Because now you're getting more practice looking for different things.
yep.
Now you're seeing what's more valuable to look for.
Well, and like everybody here who's just started doing these, and Side who's just started doing them really long and these longer ones, she's still getting used to her feet being in the right places. As those feet are like, oh, this is easy. Now I can think about, hey, I'm looking over here. Hey, I'm looking over here now. Hey, I'm look at his leg. Hey, I'm gonna look at his offside head. Right? Now you can add thinking as you don't have to worry about how your motion is working. Good. Got more. That's it. Think about pushing like you're targeting. There you go. Good. Now, yeah. Very nice. Now you guys really changed that speed up, right?
Yeah, I can't go that fast.
So the
And on the floor.
So the good part there though is as he did increase it, you increased it. As you get better at this, you'll get better at it. So, but that was good. Okay, you'll just have to keep adding those. Start out really slow, and then keep going. And it's funny, Louis just went into a bastard sword. This is no different than any other weapon.
Crab walk my bastard sword again.
There you are. Baseball. And you can see, even if you watch their feet, if you watch their feet some, you can see where they're actually doing some cross feet and they really don't care about those places because they're at a range that they're comfortable. It's also because your opponent's moving, it's not that easy for them just to stop, set up, and throw. So a lot of people they get into this, if you can't cross your feet because then they'll jump straight at you and knock you down. It's like, they can't jump straight at you if they're going backwards. Or they can't jump straight at you as they're going sideways. They actually have to set and then jump. Well, by then, your footwork's done, or you get to see it and change up what you're doing.
Change it.
Which one are you doing?
I don't know.
I was just identifying that if you do the figure eights, but if you stay on one side one time, then you just change the direction of the figure eight.
Yeah. Make her do the figure eight the opposite way this time, because she's used to one way.
Well, we just changed it like
did
8
you?
times in the middle, so there wasn't a figure eight at all anymore.
Oh, okay.
Which is
Sorry.
why I got confused.
I didn't see that one.
I didn't know we were changing the pattern.
Well, keep the pattern, but change it from one pattern to the other pattern. In between, stop and then change it type of deal. Don't change it in the middle. There you go, good. Yeah, do a couple more of these. All right, and stop. Now, let's do it the other way.
So just keep going.
So, yeah, and then put your head up, keep going. The other, this time you're gonna fall to your right side, right?
Yep. Right. Now if we come over here, now we're doing the opposite.
So watch, so here we are, I'll try again. So the idea is I pushed him over here, I'm rolling here, I roll to the center. So we're doing one layer of figure eight, then I'm gonna stop. Right, so I would normally go this way. We stop, now I'm gonna push this way. And then I'm gonna change this rolling it. Notice it's different, right, backwards. So that's all I'm saying is that.
I know, but that's what we did the first time.
No, your first time, I think you changed and flowed right in the, you didn't
No,
stop.
we stopped and then we kept going the same direction.
Oh. There you go, good. Yeah. Nice and slow. Good. Yeah, that's exactly it. Nice job. So, there you go. So the good part is it takes a little thinking to change that up because it's not very natural. And what we're just trying to do is get it to that place where it becomes natural and the feet start becoming natural. So, and again, first time. First time doing it long ways, first time changing it from one side at the beginning to the other side at the beginning. So that way we're just like our footwork, we change feet or we change direction or we go backwards and forwards, that kind of thing. All right, I think we covered a lot of that. We'll talk a little bit more. We'll get a little bit more play with that. We'll think of some more ideas. I think for a while though, we're going to try to do these figure eights and get them comfortable. We're going to make sure that we're doing height changes until everybody's at that point where they don't have to think about the figure eight anymore and they can think about the pressure instead of the figure eight. The figure eight will be natural, and I'm thinking about looking high at his head, looking to the leg, looking up, type of deal. So I start thinking about where I'm applying pressure instead of my feet. And that's where we have to be comfortable in the figure eight, we have to be comfortable in that flow, and then we're able to think about the next thing, which was where we're applying pressure and how we're applying that pressure. And then after we learn to apply that pressure, we have to also get to the next phase of that, which ends up being, what did I see? What did that probe tell me? In other words, I may be doing a figure eight, and I saw something, I keep into this figure eight, I come back to that same point, and I change up something real quick and throw it. Because I saw it earlier. That kind of thing. So hopefully that makes a little sense. So, Andy, let me know how that goes at your practice. Again, start with just the drill with somebody so you can get that motion down, because I think that becomes a big part of how that works.
Will do, yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, guys, for posting this online. It's really great to watch from afar.
No, thank you for joining us, man. I always love just sitting and chatting stuff. it's, that whole training thing and trying to do something better is always fun. And we got a great group here for that. Everybody kind of gives their feedback and everybody's working really hard at stuff. Everybody's actually really, really good at working and helping others. And that's probably the thing I like the most about this group. Everybody shares, and that's the coolest thing. So, all right. Well, thanks everyone for practice today.
Thanks, Bronis. Appreciate this. Thanks,
No
Simon.
problem.
Thank you very much.
Take care of your feet, Sides.
Yeah.
Fine.
All right.
See you soon.
Bye.